Hello and welcome to another episode of Marty's Matchbox Makeovers. Today I'm doing a 2-for-1, that is 2 cars in one video. They are both the same car. It's the Matchbox 33c Lamborghini Miura, which came out in 1969. Now I got this particular model, this one here, from unboxing of package number 29 at around Christmas in 2019. That means I've had it for nearly 6 years. I apologise to the person that sent it to me. Now, they had unusual handwriting and I found it difficult to write their name. It was either QA, K-U-A-I, or Kuar, K-U-A-R, from Berkshire in the UK. So Kuar, or QA, if you're watching from Berkshire in the United Kingdom, thank you so much for sending me this car. At the same time, they also sent me a Greyhound bus and a blue Lincoln. So having a look at this Lamborghini number 33C, this particular one has got overspray somehow of blue paint. I don't understand how that would have occurred. The windscreen is absolutely atrocious and very difficult to see through. Having a look in the Matchbox collector's catalogue of 1969, which cost threepence, I am trying to locate this particular model to see if it says anything about it. There it is there, and it actually says that it is super fast. You see that little logo there above it with the wheel? That means super fast. And there they've used the Lamborghini Miura as a sort of a bit of artwork there on this particular page. So yeah, looking at that there, look, it says it indicates super fast, and there's also one there that indicates auto steer. So I'm thinking maybe they should have put auto steer in the catalogue instead of super fast, because look at this. It's not particularly fast. Well, this one isn't anyway. It's like the handbrake's been left on. Well, that amuses me anyway. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe there was a mix-up in communications between the publisher of the catalogue and the functions of the vehicle. Anyway, looking in Roger Darkins's catalogue, which you can download online, turns out there's two variants. Turns out there's two variants. One is yellow and one is gold. If you have a look there, the yellow one, if it's got an ivory interior, could be worth $1,100. Get away. No way. Seriously? There are people that will pay a price, no matter what it is, for something that they want. So there you go. Anyway, I've got 2 today to do up. I don't know where this one came from. It probably came from a job lot I bought or something or other. I found it in a box as I was rummaging through it, so I thought I'd do 2 for 1. So I'm going to do one in the yellow and one in the gold. Here you can see the auto steer function. It's a bit worn out on this model. It's not too free and easy. But here you can see how it's supposed to function. As a kid plays with the toy, they rotate the body of the, or they twist the body of the car, and the front wheels turn accordingly. So I've got to find some tyres for the second one. I think it's only got 1 tyre on it. But first up, as always, I've got to drill out these rivets and pull it apart. So I need my trusty drill. I'm going to try something different today. I'm going to try and remove the minimum amount of material and try to reassemble the vehicle so it looks factory fresh. I'm not going to use any screws to put the base on. I'm just going to use pressure and try and force a fat rivet through a thin hole. So I'm starting off with an undersized drill, and I'm just drilling down just a small amount into the rivet post that's holding the base on. Now you can see there's a sort of a donut flange there holding the base on still, so I've gone up a size with the drills, and I'm just going to try and take off that little bit of metal that's holding the base on. But I don't actually want the base to fall off, I want to actually have to force it off. So I'm going a little bit of the time here until I feel I'm at a point where, yes, the base is still held on. This model is definitely not falling apart anytime soon. And it's going to take more pressure than I anticipated to force the base off using this little flat bladed screwdriver. So there we go. It's separated, and I'm optimistic that when it comes to putting this back together, I can just force the base on with thumb pressure, and I won't need to use any glue or screws or anything like that to hold it back together again, which is something, if it works, I might adopt it from now on. So the interior is just floating in there, not attached in any way. The doors, this model has opening doors, and there's a little spring there that's got to be removed to take the doors out. Acts on the door hinges, or the door hinge points. And when I pull this out later, I wished I'd paid more attention because I struggled getting it back in and I can't remember how it went. So I had to review the video to put it back together again. Just the windscreen now to take out. And I'll move on to the next model. So you can see I'm using my, sorry to repeat myself, if you're a regular viewer you'd know I've got a shallow cut drill. If this is your first time you've seen my channel, I'm using a modified drill bit that has a very shallow cut on it, so it doesn't penetrate the roof before it's drilled out the small rivet post there that holds the windscreen transparency in. So I've taken it down as much as I want to. Again, I'm just using pressure, a little bit of finger pressure to pop that windscreen out in the hope that I can click it back in again. So I repeat the process on the second model, and here they are now stripped down and ready to remove the paint and repaint. So I'm just looking at this interior here, a little bit of detail on there. There's a handbrake, a center console, a couple of bucket seats, and it's one of those ones that folds up during assembly. I'm guessing that Matchbox adopted this method so they could cast in plastic intricate details like that steering wheel in one piece and then fold it up to make it fit into the car. There's that V12 engine on the back. By the way, these cars, the original cars, were made between 1966 and 1973, and there was only 764 of them made, and they had a 4-litre V12 engine, and that's what you can see at the back there. These models have that auto steer, they have doors. Both doors are different, which I find odd. Normally in a car the doors are the same. The left hand one has a sort of a 12-inch circular pad on it where the window winder is, and the right one doesn't. Here you can see they are marked number 33 because it's the number 33C car, and they are marked R and L to denote right and left doors. So one of these cars sold only last year, which is 2024, for $4.9 million. Obviously there was only 764 made, so they're very highly sought after. To match this yellow colour, I started off with white and I added a little bit of lemon yellow. It didn't look right, so I intuitively added a little bit of light green. And this is what I came up with. So it's basically white with yellow and like 3 drops of green. And I think it's quite a good match. What do you reckon? Bear in mind it will dry a shade darker. So I set this aside in one of these little soy sauce pots until I'm ready to use it. So now this is the first major bit of the makeover, where you strip off all the old paint. Use the polish stripper, paint stripper. It just destroys this Matchbox paint that they used in the day. And for the doors, because they're so fiddly, I don't want to hold them. I put them in another one of those little soy sauce pots and fill it up with some paint stripper, so I don't have to handle them to take the paint off. Now, having a look at these 2 castings, one on the left is a lot cleaner than the one on the right. I don't know why. Maybe the one on the right was left in the sandpit a little bit longer than the one on the left. You can see I've buffed them up with a wire brush on my Dremel, but there's still some corrosion leftovers, I don't know what you call it, witness marks on the second model. To clean them up before the top coat of colour goes on, I give them a light spray of the Tamiya Fine Primer, the grey one. And as usual, I take this opportunity to have a look at some of the details that are otherwise unnoticed. The grey primer seems to highlight all of the details that normally are not seen. Just have a look at this casting. How beautiful is it? Look at the I don't know what that is, air vents on the front there, and the little Lamborghini logo on the bonnet. There's a couple of fuel caps, and there's some vents there for the rear mounted V12 engine. There's a fuel cap there, I believe. A little bit of damage on the back there, but number plate is still visible. Have a look. Let me know in the comments if you're a number plate freak. Look it up, and does this vehicle actually exist? It probably does, because there was not that many made. Yeah, lovely detail there from Matchbox. Again, marvellous casting for the day. Now, having a look at the suspension here, a little bit average. You can see it's like a banana. It's been sitting there, gravity acting on it for the last who knows how long, 50 years. So I'm going to try and straighten that out. And again, I don't want to drill out the rivets. So surprisingly, this plastic strip is quite soft, and I was able to remove it by just prying it off of the rivets without damaging it. So I'm going to try and straighten that up. But to do that, I need some hot water. So I boil the kettle, bring the hot water into the hobby room, and I dunk the suspension strip in the water and let it heat up so it's a little bit soft. I've got those matchsticks there to use as a bridge, and then when I push down on that now with my finger, and I'm like blowing on it to cool it down, hopefully it's going to reset the spring into its original state, which I'm assuming is straight and flat rather than like a banana. And there you go, look at that. Looks brand new again. For the tyres on the second model, if you remember, there was 1 tyre on it. There was 3 missing. God knows why. I've looked through, I don't know, 500 tyres, and I found exactly 3 replacements that I needed, and I have no idea how that happens. It's just the order of things in the universe. Sometimes things work out. I give them a wash with a bit of dishwashing liquid. Same with the interiors. That's a little makeup brush there I acquired from somewhere. It's ideal for cleaning these little intricate plastic parts, and then I just go over them with a cotton bud there just to get any grime off. They look as good as new. Obviously they're trapped inside a metal box their entire life. They don't get sunlight, they don't get any elements or anything on them, so that they actually come up like brand new, literally. So there we go. There's another image of that strange circular pad on the inside of the left door only. It's about the size of an old long playing record, I think. So a 12-inch. This is the right hand door. It's got the R stamped on it, and it's got two levers there, one to open the door I guess, and the other one to wind the window. There's also a little Matchbox there. So which one shall I paint first? This one or that one? Oh, I'll go for this one. No, that one's going to be the gold one. So I've got this Australian export paint. A bit of a cheat really. Not using the air gun for the gold one, just a can of gold spray paint. I looked online, right? And you wouldn't believe it. I've found 3 models for sale on eBay. Everyone was gold, and they were all different colours of gold, and I believe them to be genuine. So I think Matchbox might have done the thing. They might have done the same thing, just used whatever gold they had ready to paint them, because they all seem different shades of gold. The yellow, though, is rather specific. So I'm doing this one properly. Try and replicate the original. This paint went on great initially, but when it dried, I felt there wasn't 100% coverage. It kind of, the grey primer kind of came through it, so I gave it a second coat. So here are both models painted, ready to reassemble. I've just got to clean up these transparencies, the windscreen. This one here is particularly badly scoured. The other one is yellow, and I'm a little bit apprehensive because I know some people bleach their transparencies using peroxide. I don't have any, and I'm thinking, am I going to get that yellow out of that windscreen or not? Now, I do my best to polish these up with that Polywatch product. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just bought it the other day because somebody recommended it, and it is a brilliant, I must admit, it's an excellent product. But that still looks a little bit ordinary. Hopefully when it's back in the model and in the cabinet and no one's looking at it, it won't be seen. But it's the best I can get it at this stage. This is the yellow one now I'm working on. And I'm happy to report that the yellow staining came off, so I don't know what it was, but it was cleaned and it looks good. So the finishing touch for the windscreens, as always, or as is usual, maybe not always, I use this self-shining floor polish product, and I totally immerse the windscreen assembly into the product. I shake off the excess and ensure there's no bubbles on it, and I usually, as in this case, place it on a bit of absorbent towel, kitchen towel or toilet paper, to wick away the excess product, and then I cover them up with a little dust cover. In this case, it's another one of those dipping sauces pots, and I basically I've finished for the day. I'm just going to return the unused product to the bottle. This product, by the way, cat's going stupid. This product, by the way, I've had it about 4 years, I think. So it definitely lasts a long time. Anyway, next morning I come in and have a look at the finished windscreens, and they look amazing, of course. Before I went to bed last night, I did touch up these hubs with some Molotov chrome ink, or paint ink, whatever it is. There we go, that stuff. Liquid chrome. They're not metal, these hubs. They are actually plastic, and they were chrome plated in the factory by some unknown method. So I'm just replicating them. So it's time to put these back together, and boy oh boy, these doors, they gave me a bit of hassle. You can see how large my fingers are. And I do struggle when I'm doing small, intricate things like this. Putting this spring in, remember at the beginning of this video I said I wished I'd taken more notice of how it went. It took me longer than I thought to get it in position. That was extremely difficult for me to do with my finger, which is nearly the size of the car. Yeah, I got it in, and I'm not going to open the doors until I've got the base on. I must say that windscreen looks beautiful from this angle. Look at that. And it clicked straight back in. The interior is loose, so it just sits in there. There's no retention needed. And I just need to put the base on, and I'm hoping, well, that little bit there, the headlight and the radiator goes in the front grille, and the back should just click in, hopefully. I'm hoping it's going to click in. Let's have a listen. Ready? Oh, hang on. That's right, I forgot. I've got to put the wheels on, the tyres on. There's not much clearance between the wheel arch and the wheels. So I actually thought about it earlier on. I should put the tyres on before I put the base on the body. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just boiling up the kettle to soften up those tyres because they are very tight to put on. So a bit of a setback there. I want to get this thing done and dusted and finished. Spent more time than I should on it. Here we go, drop the tyres in. They're very brittle. They're quite solid plastic, these tyres. They're not like rubber. They are solid plastic. So you need to heat them up a bit to get them over those hubs. Okay, they go on quite easily now because they're a bit supple, a bit softer, malleable, whatever the word is, because they've been dunked in boiling water. There you go. Oh, no, actually, I'm just playing around there with the suspension. Looks good. Okay, so I've done that with both models. Now, time to put the base on. Yes. That is such a good feeling. I love that click. That one's done. Now the next one, fingers crossed. Great. Wow, they both look really, really good. Yellow or gold, what's your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. The steering works, and although they're not super fast, the wheels do turn. So here's a reminder of what I started with yesterday. Yes, it's been a 2-day job. A bit ordinary, well loved. Now here we go. Lovely, back to its original colour. I should have shut those doors. The doors do shut, I must have just left them open. The windscreen lets this thing down. Try as I might, I could not get it perfect. But as I said, when it's in the cupboard, on the shelf, and I'm not looking at it, it's going to look great. So I guess you could say I'm happy with that. I think I prefer the gold one. Even though the yellow is more original, I think they probably made more of the yellow than they did the gold. I actually like the gold one better. So here they are on the car lot, on display and in the shed, ready for sale. And if anyone wants to, if they got cash on the hip, and they've got $4.9 million, you are more than welcome to come and buy it off me. Well, I so hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to recommend to your friends. So until next time, this is Marty from Marty's Matchbox Makeovers saying goodbye and thanks for watching.